think it's going to those places. Yep. Okay. So while we're waiting, you can see I've got my stuff ready, and Kyle is actually filming for us. Say hi, Kyle. So Kyle will be filming for us today. He's very excited about it, I can tell you that. All right, so who do we have online so far? I see we've got a few people. If you're online, give us a hi. Hi, son. Hi, Mom. And if you're on the Facebook group, make sure you tell me your name. Otherwise, all I'm going to see is Facebook user. And I want to make sure I know who I'm talking about. Jean's there. Hi, Jean. Or hello, Jean. I shouldn't say hi, Jean. Okay, so a couple things. I've got my instructions and ingredients recipe here. I'm going to actually set my oven to 370 per the instructions, but that's something you all should not do. Make sure there's nothing in there. Because, and you'll see, because when we get going, you're going to need an extra hour and a half beyond what we're going to do here to put some stuff in the fridge, to put the dough in the fridge. So hey everyone, if you're on Facebook group, make sure I know your name, because I can't tell who you are. So I said hi Kyle, hi David, happy Friday. Yes, happy Friday everyone. Kelly, it's good to see you. All right, so first we're going to start by washing hands very quickly. And you also notice that we don't have, you have to show me too, not just the hand. I'm going to be measuring ingredients as we go. If you pre-measured your ingredients, that's okay. There's just going to be some extra time you'll see in this recipe where you have an opportunity to do that. So, I'm literally here? Is that Anita? Hi Linda, good to see you. Okay, so we're going to start by browning butter. And you'll hear me talk about the better the ingredients you have here, obviously the better. I'm using Kerry Pure Irish unsalted butter, and we're going to start by browning it. So I'm going to turn this on. You can brown a full stick of butter. Hi Melissa. So Melissa told me, I saw she's baking brownies while I'm baking cookies, so that's good. All right, so give that some time. We're just going to let that warm up and start to brown. In the meantime, I'm going to start weighing some ingredients. So what am I going to weigh first? So let's weigh all of the sugars. And I know I've got all this by weight. The flour is about 2 cups of flour. Everything else I do by weight. And what are we starting with? 65 grams of dark brown sugar, and you can use just one kind of brown sugar. I've got both dark and golden, and if you do, just get it all up to the top, to the total weight. A spoon. So, 65 grams of the dark brown, and we're just doing that while the butter is browning. See if I missed anyone. 61, 65. 65 grams of the dark, 85 of the light. And of course you can use any, or no, it was 85 of the dark. I got that backwards. Can't even read my own. Good news is I didn't mess it up too bad. So we'll do 85. What's everyone's favorite kind of cookie? They're homemade brownies, not from a box. Well, I would hope so, Melissa. And we'll have to trade off. You give me some brownies and I'll get some of that with some of yours. All right, so 85 grams of dark and 65 of the light or golden. This is my second batch. I made some yesterday. You'll see why here in a bit. Not just to practice. By the way, can everyone hear me okay? I'm using the phone and I don't have a microphone, so I'm hoping the volume's okay. Wow, this is for real baking, or even using kitchen scale for precise measurement. Hey, of course. I don't know what fake baking is. Okay, so that's that, and then let's give a view of the butter. It's coming along. We're going to just let it keep going. And then white sugar. How much white sugar? 50 grams. So I'm just putting this all on a plate. 50 grams of white sugar. Yeah, by the way, you can see this mound of sugar. Nobody said these were good for you, just that they're good. All right, a little too much. Okay. So that is all of the sugar, and that's all going to go in one shot here in a little bit. Next, let's take a look at this while this is still going. So there's plenty of time in this whole recipe to get your stuff ready. So for those of you who got, I know Kathy Roncallius, she just sent me a picture. She had everything. David, you were hysterical. Gene, why am I hysterical? I don't understand what's so hysterical. Okay, the other thing I'm going to do in getting prepped is this half stick of butter. We need it, just a full stick. I'm going to take half of this, and you want this butter to be cold. Brenda says she made a chocolate chip cookie with like a jelly roll called whirligig cookies. Oh man, that sounds good. Browning the butter, yes, Stacy. It's important because it gives you that extra flavor. Yeah, I think you said nutty flavor. Absolutely. Yeah, lots of butter. So the reason you're doing the full stick, that's going to be hot, and you're going to cut this one up. You want it to be cold butter because you want the butter, once it's brown, to cool down a little bit. So that's what this butter is going to do. It's going to cool that butter down as soon as it's done browning. Okay. So leave that there. There. Kyle's helping. He's moving the pan around too. Are you going to share the written recipe? I already have. So if you go up to Facebook, I did a post talking about this thing, and there's a link to the recipe that you can go get. Absolutely. Okay, what's next? Egg yolks. So we've got my eggs here. I need to grab a bowl real quick. Okay, you can come over here. I'm going to crack these eggs. So I only have 3 eggs, so it's going to make sure we do this right, because you need 1 full egg, and then back up a little bit. 2 egg yolks. That's burning. It's not burning. So we'll go show you the butter here in a second. It's bubbling, which is what you want. When you're browning it, you're really just burning off a lot of the liquid. I'll put that over there. See, I'm going to do 2 methods of doing the egg yolks now. Okay. And we'll come back for that. I'm going to show the butter starting to brown, starting to bubble, and it's going to foam a lot more than that. This is not the best pan for brown butter because it's a dark pan. You can't, it's harder to see when it actually browns, but you'll see it bubbles up. Stacy said Facebook and YouTube are not in sync at all. That does not surprise me. That's are 2 completely different companies. All right, what else? Vanilla extract, chocolate chips we'll get to in a little bit. So I think right now we are good. So we'll just keep watching this butter. That aside for now. So the next thing you're going to need is a big bowl. Not because there's a lot of dough here, but mostly because you don't want an eggshell. You want a little surface area again for it to cool down a little bit. Yeah, you can't smell the brown butter. I've gone too far with the brown butter. And not that it ruins anything, it just doesn't taste as good as it possibly could. Or like mine, a little on the lighter side. Nita, was that you saying beautiful lower cabinets? I think this is getting close. Get the spatula and see if we can see. Browning this butter is literally the most complicated part of this. And really, when you start to see it foam up like that, you know it's getting close, at least for me. This is where I found this recipe. It's a good question. I'm not sure where I found the recipe. Nita, do you remember where I found this recipe? No, I didn't steal from Alton Brown. I'll think about that, Stacy. I'm not totally sure. All right, this is getting close. If your arm gets tired, you're going to trade off with your mom. All right, yeah, when you see it foaming up like that, you know that it's really getting close, and then it kind of goes quiet, and I go just a little bit beyond that. Where is Anita? Anita's in the house. She's upstairs. Anita, you going to come show your face? Nope. She's not going to come show her face, which means she doesn't feel like she's prepared for that. All right, we're going to go with that. So we're going to transfer all of this butter. Maybe not quite as brown. Yeah, there we go. Get all this stuff off the bottom. That's the brownie stuff. So I'll have Kyle show that to you here in a sec. All right. So all those little brown bits, that's the yumminess. So now you're going to take this half stick that we've cut up into little pieces and roll that around. So really what you're doing is we're going to cool off this butter that we just heated up. 50 grams of white sugar is a lot, is that right? So it should be, that should be what your sugars all kind of look like right there. That's what I just did. So this is mostly sugar and butter.
Which is why it's good.
Yeah. Sugar, butter, and cookies, and chocolate chips. Yeah. Kyle says that's why it's good. All right, come back over. So you can see we're just going to let that cool off. It says I was supposed to let it cool for 2 minutes. We'll do that at the end of this. Doesn't matter which end. Usually I have a recipe and I mostly follow it, but not 100%. So he says, you know why they don't cook all the butter? Yeah, again, you're saving this half to cool this butter down because it gets really warm, and you don't want the hot butter, the butter to be super hot. You want to kind of cool it down a little bit. Who is it, by the way, that asked me if 50 grams of sugar was a lot? Because if you're on the Facebook group, I can just see that you commented. I can't see who it was. Okay, so you can see there that the butter has completely dissolved. So now we're going to set a timer for 2 minutes. Did that a little backward. We're supposed to wait the 2 minutes to begin with. So while we're doing that, we're waiting for the 2 minutes. Let's get our flour. So the flour is 230 grams, which I did the calculation. Comes out to 1 7/8 cups. So just say 2 cups. But we're going to weigh ours. 230. I'm just doing the plates for the convenience here. A little much. A little more. It's always a little game. Okay. So that's about how much flour, if you're doing it at home. And then the baking soda and the baking powder. So the baking soda is, now here's the deal with the baking soda. I said a half a teaspoon, and the question is, how fluffy do you like your cookies? If you like them really fluffy, then do a full teaspoon. If you don't, I don't. I like them a little flatter. I like flat, thin cookies. What kind do you like, fluffy or thin?
Middle.
Right in the middle. So if you like them a little fluffier, then add a full teaspoon of baking soda. Otherwise, just go with half. I just cut the recipe originally in half. So Kathy says me on the butter. Okay, yep. All right, 1 teaspoon of salt. And we're going to do a different kind of salt later. And I think that is it. We're going to do vanilla extract later. I think that's everything weighed out. How are we doing on time? We got about 10 seconds of time. So the next thing that's going to happen is we're going to take all that sugar and we're going to mix it into here. Stacy says she likes fluffy. All right, so take all of your sugars, throw them into the bowl, and then a wire whisk. And we're going to mix this all together. Okay, we'll combine. If you have big chunks, especially if the brown sugar is not very fresh, we're going to try and get those out over time. Over the next few steps anyway. In fact, I've got some of that going on right now, so don't start the timer yet. So I'm going to actually take this spatula and just kind of smash this sugar a little bit. So if I've got any bits, any big bits, I'll get those out. Like that one right there needs to die. This is about the most, you're going to add a little egg. This is about the most liquid that's getting put in, so you want to make sure it's, you don't want to be biting into a big old chunk of sugar.
You don't.
What'd you say?
Maybe you don't.
Kyle says maybe I don't. He's saying he does. Okay, so notice how dark it is. We're going to start a timer, set a timer for 2 minutes. Nope. 3 minutes. 3 minutes and let that set for that 3 minutes. Now, I'm usually not as well prepared and have everything measured out, so sometimes I do some of that measuring there. Janine asks, can Kyle deliver cookies? He says no. So Janine, you may have to up the ante and see if you can bribe him. She doesn't live very far. Stacy wants cookies to be delivered. I told Stacy no, and she keeps saying, come on. So Stacy, here's the question for you is, how much will you pay Kyle to deliver these cookies? What would it take?
Money.
Stacy says, please talk like Julia Child while giving us directions here. I don't think I could do that. You got to watch here. Don't read that. Kyle said Kyle will be rewarded eating them as a videographer. That's actually how I talked him into being the videographer. I told him we would, he would get some cookies. Actually, what I told him was he wouldn't get cookies if he didn't do the videography.
You didn't bribe me, you threatened me.
Yeah. So if you're making cookies, tell me how it's going. Let me know if I'm going too fast or you're caught up or just generally kind of where you're at. Stacy says she'll give you $10.
Where does Stacy live?
He wants to know where you live, Stacy. It's not close. He's getting his tires changed out today, and he just found out his struts need to be replaced as well, and they quoted him $1,800.
We'll do it for 3.
Stacy says, 1 dozen? How much you paying me for the cookies, Stacy? That's the question. I'm caught up. Kathy, I assume that's you, which is good. How much we got left? We got about 1 minute left on the timer. And I think last night it took about 45 minutes or so total to get through this recipe, not counting the cooling time. Melissa says her brownies are about to go in the oven. Your brownies are much quicker than these cookies are, that's for sure. Because once we're done, Stacy says, ouch. What did I say? I don't remember what I said to make Stacy say ouch. So once the cookie dough, the first part of the cookie dough is done, we're going to put them in the fridge for half an hour. so that they cool down enough that you can form them into balls, and then you need to put them back in the fridge once they're formed for at least an hour, and overnight is better. And truly, the longer they stay, overnight or longer, the better that you're kind of swaying, maybe making people seasick. Don't do that. All right, timer's up. So now, you can see that's what it looks like. And now we're going to add the egg and the egg yolks. So we're going to throw the 1 egg and 2 egg yolks that we separated before. Oh, cost of the car, yeah. $1,800. Now, we'll probably end up doing it. So I don't think it'll end up actually costing that much. We'll see. All right, so now we're going to mix this for about 30 seconds. And I just kind of look at my watch, I guess. But one of the things that you'll see is that this lightens up significantly. And if you're jiggly like me, this gets all jiggly. See how the colors start to lighten up there. All right, that's about 30 seconds. So you went from really dark to light. That's both the egg yolk and just adding some water into the mixture. I see I've still got some brown bits, but we're going to set the timer again for 3 minutes. What's happening between all of this is you're letting it rest and hydrate, and just letting the sugars get hydrated with everything that you just put in and get well mixed. So for those of you watching, how many of you, this is just a Groundhog Day, getting out of a Groundhog Day kind of thing? Any reason for the whisk as opposed to the mixer? I mean, as opposed to that? That's just a bigger pain to clean, and you're only whisking for about 30 seconds. But one of the things you're trying to do is get some air, a little bit of air into that mixture. All right, now we wait again. So while we're waiting, let's do a little cleaning. Actually, someone asked a question. Seems to be quite a process. It is quite the process, but believe me, and Kyle can tell you, it is. Would you say it's worth it? He says yes, it is absolutely worth it. So
it's worth it for you to do it.
He says it's worth it for me to do it. Would you do it?
I mean, I can buy cookie dough at Walmart.
Like Nestle cookie dough.
Nestle Toulouse.
So I was telling my boys the other day, this is what's called cleaning. They don't always understand what that word means.
And I said you're talking to the wrong son.
Okay. So that took up about 30 seconds. We got 1 minute left. Why do you have to wait? Yeah, they ain't our mama's cookie recipe. That's true. Why do you have to wait? Well, first of all, because the recipe said so. But, mostly you're letting everything hydrate. So you're letting the sugar get as much of that moisture as it can, so it doesn't become really grainy, and also continuing to let it cool a little bit over time. I said you can hear Kyle. I don't have to repeat after him. Sorry, I just get into a bad habit. Lindsay, are you making cookies or are you watching? So I can know how sad Jake is going to be later. Or you just plan on coming over? This is keeping me from cleaning the basement. Basement cleaning has been Groundhog Day. Yeah, we did that with our garage, or have been doing that with our garage, but it's finally in a clean state. All right. So what's next? Now the vanilla extract. This is important. You want good vanilla extract, not the fake stuff. This is actually vanilla concentrate from Haiti. So this is Haitian vanilla extract. And you're supposed to use a half of it, but I really like like it, so I actually, even though I'm supposed to use half of this, I do the real thing. So I think it's 1 teaspoon of this as well, 2 teaspoons. So I'm going to probably do 1 1/2. And oops, a little extra. 1 1/2. Oops.
Shit.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with a little vanilla, right?
Try drinking that bottle.
Try drinking from that bottle. No thanks. All right, so we did that, and we're going to whisk for another 30 seconds. Lucas! Is Lucas watching? He said he wasn't going to watch, and I haven't seen him comment yet. Melissa said hi. So Lucas, if you're watching, let me know. All right, Kyle, and then we're going to do one more 3 minutes. That's the last 3-minute timer. And again, you can see how much lighter that got. And that is from the whisking. I think that's the last time we need the whisk. Yep. Oh yeah, vanilla from Mexico is very good as well. Let's see what my other one is. I use that one because it's Haitian. That one is Mexican, right? Mm-hmm. Yep. So either one is good. As long as it's good vanilla. You don't want the cheap stuff. Everyone keeps saying hi to Lucas. How do you all know that Lucas is there? He decided to be German and stay awake. Yeah. So Lucas, when he was here, and hi Lucas, if you are in fact there, when they came here, we did our volunteer thing, and we were done by like 8 o'clock. And they were like, "Man, we would just be getting started in Germany." So, okay, let's make sure we know what's coming next. So next, we're going to be putting the flour into this, and so you're going to definitely need the spatula for that. You want the spatula to mix all that in. This is when it really starts to become cookie dough. Actually, while we're waiting, the one thing I haven't measured out is the most important thing, right? The chocolate chips.
Correct.
Now, for the chocolate chips, you can pretty much do anything that you want here. And I usually do a mix. So I'm using these dark chocolate baking chunks. I'm also going to use these semi-sweet baking, and then I'm going to top them with these minis. Yeah, usually I try and chop up German chocolate we got from Germany, and I was planning on doing that, but it turns out we'd eaten it all. So, says he was watching. How about from aisle 12 at King Soopers? You know what that was for? What's aisle 12 at King Soopers? I'm not sure what that is. Okay, so, and I know I give you on the instructions 170 grams of chocolate chips, so you can mix that any way that you want. I got my scale, Stacy, from the place I get everything, Amazon. But I can tell you what it is. As soon as I'm done writing this, I'll tell you what it is. So we used all of those chocolates, and then we're going to use these. I've got like 30 seconds, but I'm going to come back to this. These are chunks. Now I like having the chunks as well. Now it says 170 grams, but let's see, Kyle just stole some, and I just added too much. But you can add too much. See, I'm just going to leave all of that. So I actually did 180. Oh, I'll 12 King Soopers for the vanilla. Yep, absolutely. So I got a little bit of extra chocolate there, but our chocolate's ready to go. All right.
Ooh. It's dark chocolate.
It is dark chocolate. All right, so now we're going to put the flour and the salt and the baking soda all in one shot here. And mix well until it's all combined. You have to send me some for my birthday. Who's the one that said that? I don't know who said that. It came from Facebook group. So for birthdays, I might do that.
Hey Dad, when's my birthday?
Why you do that? You don't get any cookies now.
When's my birthday?
Yeah, Brenda, he got the chocolate, but what'd you say? Was it too? It's bittersweet, right? Was it too bitter?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not really the kind of chocolate, that one in particular, that you can steal those though. Those are just straight up Nestle. Oh, Cassie, that's right. It's your birthday. Happy birthday. Cassie, I might do that if you really want me to bring you some for your birthday. No, you're up in Loveland though. That may be a little bit too much of a trip. But how about next time you're in town? Everyone give Cassie a girl, because she's one of the frontline workers. Working hard. Keep us safe. All right. So that's what the dough is starting to look like. That's about what yours should look like. Now we add the chocolate. So whatever chocolate you add, put that in, and we're going to mix that up. We're getting really close to the best part. And you really can't go wrong with the chocolate. I was a little sad we were out of the chocolate we got from Switzerland, but this will do.
How many cookies does the batch make?
Yeah, that's a good question. How many cookies? So the answer is going to be it depends, and I'll show you what I mean by that here in a second, or in a minute. Okay, so we're going to get all this. So the next thing we're going to do with this batch, I'm just going to kind of form it. Now that I cleaned my spatula, form it kind of into a little bit of a ball. And you're going to stick this, cover this with plastic. So let me grab some plastic. Cover this bowl with plastic and put it in the fridge for 30 minutes, because right now it's too much of a loose, it's too loose to form into a ball. But you put it in the fridge, and it doesn't have to be covered great. Put that in the fridge for 30 minutes. So this fridge doesn't have room, so I'm going to do that in a minute. Then when you get those out, I have a little drink. When you take those out, the dough is going to firm up. And I use an ice cream scoop like this. I actually hate this ice cream scoop because it doesn't actually work. But that's about the size of the ball that you want, about a 2-ounce ball. And the answer is it'll make as many cookies as you really want it to, depending on how big you make your cookie dough balls. So I do it so it makes about, what did I do? 2, 4, 6, 16. I think it was 16. The original recipe calls for 24 if you do cookies, if you do a ball about half that size. And I've made them really big cookies. And the only thing that changes, you can also do one big cookie, that Brenda said. So you can make really any amount that you want. It just depends on how big you want the cookie, and you just got to kind of watch the baking time a little bit. So once you get them out, you're going to grab 2 baking sheets, and I did these last night, and you're going to portion them out like this. So I made cookies about that size, and you'll see they flatten out quite a bit. So 2, 4, 6, 8, yes. So these made really 15 and a half. There's one little cute cookie right there with whatever I had left. But the original recipe I think called for 24. The other thing so once you're done making them, forming them, put them on the cookie sheets with as much space as you can. You'll notice that each one of these has 3 chocolate chip cookies on the top. So, and that's mostly for aesthetics, and I'll show you. So when you're done, you just want to take some chips and put them there. So when these bake down, there's at least 3, and you could do 4 perfectly sized chocolate chips right on top. Then when you're done doing that, so this is after the half hour in the fridge, pull them out, put these up, then cover them back up with plastic wrap and put them back in the fridge for at least 1 hour, but overnight if possible, which these were done overnight. So this is why I started my oven, are actually ready to go into the oven. So we're going to put these in the oven, one on the top shelf and one on the bottom, and we're going to set a timer 4 minutes. I believe that's right. Yep. For 4 minutes, we turn the oven light on, and we'll show you what that looks like here in a second. So the question is, for those of you who are making cookies, how many are you going to make? I prefer bigger cookies. A lot of people prefer some smaller cookies, but totally up to you, right? Like Brenda said, one big, huge. Your legs are blinding me. Sorry about that. Don't take pictures of my legs. That's one less cookie you get.
This one's my birthday.
Stop. All right, so it's not very good. One of the things you'll notice is when it's not good. Let's show the cookies as they start to warm up. You'll see that they start to flatten. But certainly in this first round, they're not going to go completely flat. And even when you take them out, they're not going to go completely flat. Stacy likes 2 or 3 bite cookies. I truly would like my cookies to be at least that big around, but I'll take them anyway. What do you say, Kyle?
Smaller.
Smaller? I should have prepared some stuff for these 4-minute time frames. Kyle, you got a joke you can tell? I'm making 300 cookies. Wow. May 17th is your birthday. Someone said it.
Yeah.
Let's get the month. I always have a hard time with the day.
Who said it though?
I assume that's Nana said it. Probably. No, so you want some chocolate chips? These are little bitty chocolate chip cookies. Chocolate.
Oh, wait, I have a joke.
Okay, Kyle has a joke. Oh.
No, I want to tell you. Why did Sally fall off the swings?
Why did Sally fall off the swings?
She didn't have any arms. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Not Sally.
Oh my word. Now I can't post this thing again. Start Jeopardy theme music. That'd be great.
Alexa, play the Jeopardy theme.
Yeah. Alexa. Alexa. Stop.
You said it.
Be nice to your father. You're recording. I love the idea of doing a car parade at our house. Just drive by and I'll give everyone a cookie. That's actually kind of doable. Nita, how many cookies can I give away?
How many are you making?
Eventually there'll be 32.
2.
She said I can give 2 cookies away out of the 32 that I'm going to end up making.
I'm kidding. I just need 1.
Yeah, she says she's kidding. She just needs 1.
I need more than 1.
How many Alexas are playing that now? Ours is. Too much. All right, take a look. We got about 20 seconds left. I guess I should get out pot holders. So here's what we're going to do next is we're going to rotate each pan and then switch their location. So from the bottom to the top and top to the bottom. You should absolutely keep your cookies. All right, here we go. Round 1. So turn that. You see how they're starting to flatten on the edges? And they won't look done when we actually pull them out. But they go back in for another maybe. So the recipe says 4 to 6 minutes, and really it's 4 till they're done. And it can be 4 minutes if they're smaller. These I'm probably going to guess are going to take 6 or so minutes. The key is you want the edges to be browned and the centers to look like they're just underdone. And here's the key: if you wait till they are done, or look done on the pan, they're going to be way overdone. Now, if you like them that way, that's good. But I like mine kind of bendy and stretchy, pull the chocolate apart. So if you like them really crisp, then just cook them a little bit longer. And as they firm up, you'll be good. Such devotion. It's a good question. I did not use parchment paper, but you can. I've got those silicone pads on mine, but you can absolutely use parchment paper or nothing. Any of that is fine. That's a good question. I should have brought that up. I've used parchment paper in the past, and it's good. It makes for easy cleanup. Linda, I do not deliver, but Kyle's doing deliveries, but it's going to cost a lot of money, right? How much to deliver out to Elizabeth?
$1,800.
$1,800, which is the cost of his new struts. I see what he's saying. Deb, it's good to see you. How is everyone holding up? I know it's been a groundhog-ish day just about everywhere. Oh, can you start to smell the cookies now? Let's see how they look. Yep, starting to look a little more like cookies. They're getting there. So let's talk about the secret ingredient, and it's an optional one. When you're done, if you have pink Himalayan sea salt, which I've got some in a grinder, you grind some of that on top, or flaky sea salt like this, little flakes. Throw some of that on top. I guess you could use, I don't know if you'd use table salt, but maybe kosher salt. And salt, it's like adding salt to caramel, like salted caramel. It just gives it a little kick. Do you like it?
Like some.
Like some. I like it. I think it's amazing. Linda, I tell you what, I'll save you a cookie, and you can do a drive-by by the church and get a cookie. Of course, I'm going to make that commitment, and I'm going to have to do that for everybody. So, Stacy, how about that? If I bring some to the church, you can come and get one at the church. Delivered to Simla. Take care of the elderly. Simla's a drive. How far is it from here to Simla? Or how long of a drive is it from here to Simla? I don't even know. All right. The waiting, the anticipation kills me. Oh, let's see how they're looking. So these look a little puffy, but they're gonna collapse. So if you put the extra baking soda, they're gonna look a lot puffier than that because they do collapse a little bit. Oh, that's a bummer. Linda says she can't have sugar, so I have to give hers away. An hour to Simla. Well, that's. What else we got to do now, right?
Fix my strut bars.
Yeah. Oh, an hour from the church.
So it's probably hour
About
15.
hour 15, so round trip 2.5 hours to deliver some cookies. By then you could make them. Yeah, Jenny, the salt on cookies is so good. And this doesn't tend to be crunchy. This one tends to be a little bit crunchy. So if you like that extra little crunchy pop, it's good. All right, let's take a look. I don't think they're going to be done quite yet. Not quite. They're close. They're close. This, you see how this one, the little one's getting really close. It's brown around the edge. I'm just going to rotate them. I'm not going to switch spots. And we're going to give those maybe 2 more minutes. So I don't know if you all heard, if you watched the Q&A last night, we'll be talking about it on Sunday, but the church is going to continue to be on lockdown for another month, at least through the end of May. And a good chance beyond that. They're really saying the most likely scenario is July, maybe August, maybe sometime in July, early August, which is a bummer, unless things really turn around. I said it's possible in June, not possible in May, but possible in June. So you can be praying about and thinking about that. Not just thinking about it, but praying about it. If things do go well, I'd love for June to be better. And looking for ideas for what to do for moms for Mother's Day. any ideas for how we can virtually or digitally bless moms, be good. So if you get that. They will not stay that fluffy, Stacy. They will collapse a little bit.
They collapsed a little bit. The little one did.
They're getting close. Lucas, I will not be baking every week now, but I may do it again in a couple weeks. I like baking bread. What's the favorite thing I make?
Rolls.
Rolls. Make my grandmother's dinner rolls. Like, they're not crescent rolls, but they're in that shape. They're just yeasted dough, and they are so good. And I started doing baking to actually perfect that recipe. It made her help me figure out how to do it. All right. That time is about up. I think my guess is they're going to be done this time around, but we'll see.
Little one's done.
Little one's probably even a little bit overdone. So you see how they're just brown around the edge and they don't look like they're quite done in the middle. That is perfect. So you can see how fluffy they are now. I'll let them rest. Thank you, Kyle. I'll take that pin. Ooh. Yeah, so how long we gotta let them rest now? 10 minutes. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna let these rest for 10 minutes, and then once they deflate a little bit, I'm gonna move them to a cooling rack. I've got a cooling rack here, and then we will, as they cool, dust them with a little sea salt and pink Himalayan salt, and then they're gonna be, you can pretty much eat them hot. They're piping hot right now. And the reason you want to leave them on the tray, it's important to leave them on the tray because they're still cooking. And so they need this 10 minutes for the bottoms to kind of brown up a little bit more and for them to kind of finish, and they'll deflate. And I'll post a picture of the final cookies once they're done here in probably 10 or 15 minutes so that you can see finally what they look like. English muffin bread, Stacy. That's probably my favorite thing I make, is I have an English muffin recipe that is to die for. In fact, it ruined English muffins for me. So the English muffin bread sounds really good. And yet, I've made bagels. Those are good. The problem is once you start making stuff homemade, like the brownies or cookies, you don't want the other stuff, or at least not nearly as much. All right, let's give one more look at the cookies and ask anyone have any final questions. Like I said, I'll post a picture of the final cookies, and you notice how we put those 3 chocolate chips on the top, and so now they all look like you can at least see chocolate chips. These are all loaded, but you can't see all the chocolate inside of them. All right, I think we're good. Thanks everyone for joining. Have a great Friday. We'll see you all on Sunday. God bless.